Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another broadcast. Today I want to talk about Secret Empire number 2, or more specifically, Nick Spencer's seeming response to C.S. Lewis's Surprised by Joy, called Surprised by Joylessness. Here's a quick rundown of Secret Empire number 2, since this isn't so much a review or even a critique of the technical aspects of Mr. Spencer's work as it is about the messages it sends to his audience. 1. Superheroes everywhere are trying to cope with Hydra Cap's America. 2. AI Tony Stark and Black Widow argue over whether it's possible to save Steve Rogers now that they've learned all the details about the Cosmic Cube shenanigans. 3. AI Tony wants to collect all the shards of the Cosmic Cube while Black Widow takes off to see through her bloody alternative. Miles Morales joins up with her since he had a vision of himself killing Captain America on the steps of the Capitol. 4. A girl runs through an unidentified forest from villains and is saved by a man identifying himself as Steve Rogers. The grizzled World War II veteran, still in fatigue, says he's, quote, just trying to get home. A friend of mine surmised that this may be Marvel creatively going the teen Tony Stark route once again. Google it if you're unfamiliar with the story, which I have no desire to cover here for a multitude of reasons. Okay guys, this is a long Marvel event and I don't want to repeat myself over and over again, so here now is my attempt to give you some new things to think about. I've said before that Mr. Spencer's work is technically sound. Taken as an isolated read, it's actually rather interesting and it challenges the audience to think about big issues, so kudos for that. What I find rather disturbing is Marvel's decision to use up over a year's worth of creative real estate setting up a giant event that itself is a towering monument to pessimism. It's morose. It's dour. It's born in part out of a political temper tantrum, e.g. see the issue where Red Skull weirdly issues Republican Party talking points on immigration enforcement, and in general, it just further sinks the Marvel Universe into a morass of nihilism. In short, I'm saying that there are creative repercussions for the whole Marvel Universe when stories like this happen, and it makes it much harder for other writers to pull their heroes out of the postmodern gunk such events leave behind. It seems to me, after reading Mr. Spencer's work over the past couple years, that he never asks, where does the next adventure lie for this character, as opposed to, what is the story I want to tell? There's a very subtle but important difference in the two approaches. In one instance, the writer is humbling himself before who the character is and what he represents to fans, and in the latter, he treats characters as pawns on a chessboard that he moves around for his own entertainment. Here's another way of putting it. There are two classic books by Holocaust survivors. One is by Viktor E. Frankl, titled Man's Search for Meaning, and the other is Elie Wiesel's Night. The former demonstrates how man can find meaning and hope within the darkest situations, just like the big black dark force bubble over New York City in Secret Empire. And the latter is perhaps one of the most nihilistic books I've ever read, even if the content is extremely educational. Mr. Frankl says at one point, what was really needed was a fundamental change in our attitude toward life. We had to learn ourselves and, furthermore, we had to teach the despairing men that it did not really matter what we expected from life, but rather what life expected from us. We needed to stop asking about the meaning of life and instead to think about ourselves as those who were being questioned by life daily and hourly. Our answer must consist not in talk and meditation, but in right action and in right conduct. Life ultimately means taking the responsibility to find the right answer to its problems and to fulfill the tasks which it constantly sets for the individual. Okay, got that right? That's a guy who went through a Nazi death camp and survived. Now consider Wiesel. The morning star shone in the sky. I too had become a different person. The student of Talmud, the child I was, had been consumed by the flames. All that was left was a shape that resembled me. My soul had been invaded and devoured by a black flame. Doug, what the heck does any of this have to do with Secret Empire, you ask? Actually, a lot if we're talking thematically and in terms of the underlying message about the world the writers are trying to convey. These are books that will make you a better person for having read them, and if you do, you will understand why regularly beaming the equivalent of, quote, "my soul had been invaded and devoured by a black flame" into readers' heads is not healthy. There is a time and a place for stories like Secret Empire, but the overall message superhero tales should send is much more in line with Man's Search for Meaning than Mr. Weisel's Night. Anyway, that's about it for now. I'm sorry to get a little heady on you guys, but I want you to know that this is a channel that does not dumb down material for subscribers. I think you guys are overall very intelligent and would rather push you to expand your horizons than give you the YouTube equivalent of a chocolate chip cookie and condescendingly pat you on the head. Read good books. Read comic books. Get sharp. And then demand more from the people who craft the stories you buy. This is a channel about raising the bar instead of lowering the bar, so if you're into that kind of thing, then hit the subscribe button. And with that, sound off in the comments section below, and as always, if you've liked what you've heard here, then head on over to douglashearns.blog for more coverage just like this. See you next time.